ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਬੈਰਾੜੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਚੌਥਾ। ਜਪ ਮਨ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਨਿਤ ਧਿਆਏ, ਜੋ ਇੱਛ ਹੈ ਸੋਈ ਫਲ ਪਾਵਹਿ, ਫਿਰ ਦੁਖ ਨਾ ਲਾਗੇ ਆਏ। ਰਹਾਉ ਸੋ ਜਪ ਸੋ ਤਪ ਸਾ ਬ੍ਰਤ ਪੂਜਾ, ਜਿਤ ਹਰ ਸਿਓ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲਗਾਏ। ਬਿਨ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਹੋਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਭ ਝੂਠੀ, ਇਕ ਖਿਨ ਮਹਿ ਬਿਸਰ ਸਭ ਜਾਏ। ਤੂੰ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਸਰਬ ਕਲ ਪੂਰਾ, ਕਿਛ ਕੀਮਤ ਕਹੀ ਨਾ ਜਾਏ। ਨਾਨਕ ਸ਼ਰਨ ਤੁਮਾਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਜੀਓ, ਭਾਵੈ ਤਿਵੈ ਛਡਾਏ। ਤੂੰ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਸਰਬ ਕਲ ਪੂਰਾ, ਕਿਛ ਕੀਮਤ ਕਹੀ ਨਾ ਜਾਏ। ਨਾਨਕ ਸ਼ਰਨ ਤੁਮਾਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਜੀਓ, ਭਾਵੈ ਤਿਵੈ ਛਡਾਏ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today's Pavan Pitra Hukamnama Sahib from Sri Sachkhand Sri Harmandir Sahib is on Ang 720 in Bairadi Rag by Tan Sri Guru Ram Das Ji Sache Padshah. Sangat ji, today Guru Amar Das Ji, Guru Ram Das Ji Padshah Ji maaf karna, is saying to us that the essence of any practice is it's all about love. Having that love inside of our heart. And who do we have that love for? Having that love for that one that is the cause of everything. Having the love for that one that is at the core of everything. Having the love for that one that is within everything. That is the truth behind everything. The one that is never changing. The one that is achal. The one that is immovable. The one that is stable. The one that is completely still. Sangat ji, let's take hold of Guru Ram Das Ji Padshah Ji's arm and let's embrace these words of Guru Sahib Ji, so we can take these words into our life and become these words. So aao suniye. Jap man har har naam nit dhyaye. The word that really comes out at me from this pangati is the word nit. Nit, Sangat ji, means every moment. Guru Ram Das Ji Padshah kende jap, kende when we kende through the meditation of who, kende jap man, of who, of har har. She's saying, oh my mind, remain constantly every moment with every breath in the meditation of who, of har har. Kende nit dhyaye. Dhyaye, Sangat ji, means is to remain focused. Jap literally will translate to, it's a form of meditation. It's a form of connection. And that is the first instruction given to us by Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Padshah Ji in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Jap, Sangat ji, translates literally to a mantar that we take and we recite and we repeat again and again. Dhyaye means to meditate, to focus on something. Paatji saying that focus and meditate on the japa, on that mantar that is given to you by your guru. Kende but remain, kende constantly dhyaye. Make sure your focus is within it. Kende kite tada khayal khilriya na hove. Make sure that you are completely attuned to meditating on the name of God in every moment of your life. Sangat ji, the truth is that the meditation of Naam can go beyond that word being just something that we recite with this tongue. We don't need this tongue to remain in the meditation of that one. Sangat ji, and we'll have a look at that as well. Through the lives of those that have become imbued, so imbued in that one, that even when their tongue hasn't remained, they've still remained in the meditation of that one. Tan Guru Ramdas Ji Paatshah Ji saying to us, kende jo ichha hai, soi phal paaveh, fir dukh na lage aaye. Kende that when, kende whatever you then desire, kende soi then you will obtain those fruits. Jo ichha hai. But here, it doesn't mean ichha hai random things. Because over here, somebody could be desiring those things that actually bring pain to them. But it's talking about that when you desire that thing, that no pain and suffering actually remains in your life. Fir dukh na lage aaye. When that pain doesn't come anywhere near you, lage, close to you, or aunda hi nahi tade lage. Keda dukh pyareo? Janam maran da dukh. That pain, that suffering of not escaping from the dunya of birth and death, not escaping from the fear of death, not escaping from what even the whole idea and concept of death, not going beyond into that place where there's no death, where death doesn't even exist. Sangat ji, that dukh is completely gone. And that dukh is caused by what? That dukh is caused by home. The home is that veil that keeps me in that dark, in that room, in that dark room, thinking that I'm here on my own. This is me. And everything else is something else. This is me and this is you. Living in that ignorance of not having that realization that Vaheguru Ji, everything is you. That is that biggest dukh that I can have. And when I live there in that little dark room on my own, then there is birth, then there is death, Sangat ji, and then there is suffering. And that is the mind suffering, that constant going round and round, remaining in doubt in life. So Prapat ji saying that is taken away, because now jo ichha soi phal paaveh, because now the ichha, the desire became for the truth. Because now I desire the truth. Kanki eke dars tuharo. Now that all my desire remained was to have the realization of you, Vaheguru Ji, to have that love for you. Jo ichha hai, kanki eka. So now eka, that I've only got one desire. What is that one desire? Is that desire for to have the darshan of the one. So eka dars tuharo, of yours tuharo. Tade Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji darshan karn vaste, to have that vision of you. Sangat ji, how many times do we actually sit in the morning? How many times do we sit in the morning and we read our Nitnem and we read part in the morning, but we're reading part in the morning with only that one desire, with that Kanki Eka. Kanki Sangat ji means desire. How many times do we actually sit there in that yearning, in that inside, that pirta, that wanting to be one with you, and is wanting to get to that place in my life where I see nothing but you. Sangat ji, how many times do we actually sit in the morning and when we're saying Vaheguru, we're actually saying Vaheguru, that this I've had enough now. I've had enough of this suffering, of not having that realization, of not seeing you. That Vaheguru, 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 ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਬਖਸ਼ ਦੇਵੋ. That give me your darshan, let me have your vision. ਕਾਂਕੀ ਏਕਾ ਦਰਸ ਤੁਹਾਰੋ. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi saying they are so rare that actually have that desire within inside of their mind. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਲੱਭ ਜਾਵੇ, that every time they say Vaheguru, they are actually saying, I want your darshan. Every time they pick up the gutka and they read Japji and they say ek onkar, and bas ਉੱਥੇ ਮਨ ਅਟਕ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਹੈ ਮਨ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਜੇ ਕਾਸ਼ ਤੇਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ ਇੱਕ. Hey Vaheguru Ji, that moment that we pick up the Gutka Sahib, the moment somebody opens up their phone, the moment somebody starts to recite Gurbani off by heart and they say that first number they recite, and that is Ek, and their mind just stops there and starts to pain. And that yearning to say that all I want is one. I don't want two in my life. I don't want anything else left in my life. I just want you left in my life. I only want to be able to see you. Kanki eka dars toharo. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi saying they are so rare to be able to find those. And they said, if I was to find those, kende Nanak. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi saying ithe shota bisram, a small pause, Nanak un sang. And they say amongst those un sang, I'd like to accompany them. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi says that I'd like to be saved with the un sang mohe udaro. Hey Vaheguru Ji, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi saying, save me with those that have got that inside to have darshan of Vaheguru Ji. Sangat Ji, because they're very rare, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachi Ji say to us as well, kotan mein Nanak kau Narayan jeh cheet. Kotan mein Nanak kau. They are kotan. Amongst millions. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachi kotan mein Nanak kau. They are so rare. They're just a few amongst a million. Narayan jeh those that are actually focusing on Vaheguru Ji and saying all I want is you. And that's why over here Pachi Ji use the word jap man har har naam nit ਧਿਆਏ. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਜਪਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਧਿਆਉਂਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਰਲਾ ਜੇ. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, there's many that are reciting with the tongue, but there's very few that have actually ਧਿਆਏ, that are meditating and focused constantly every moment. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਜੋ ਇੱਛ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਫਲ ਪਾਵ ਹੈ. ਜੋ then what we are desiring to have the darshan, to have the vision, realization of that truth. Vaheguru Ji kende fir pach kende fir dukh na lage, because the truth is suffering can only end when I start to see you, Vaheguru Ji, everywhere. When I start to realize there is no such thing as death, there is no such thing as birth, that the truth is that Vaheguru Ji, my true self is a Juni, that there is no June for me. ਇੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਪਾਚ ਜੀ saying ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰਹਾਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਿਸਰਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ contemplate this, take this deep inside of your heart. So ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, then ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਪਾਚ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਜਪ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਪ ਉਹ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਜਪ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, here again it means a recitation of a mantar. That recitation of a mantar that is taken from your guru is the true recitation. Which one? But Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi saying, let me give you a few more in this list. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਤਪ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ is penance, is putting your body through so much. When your mind goes into that stubbornness in saying that I'm going to do this, I'm going to stand like this for so many hours so I can have attainment of Vaheguru Ji. But in the house of the Guru, Baba Ishar Singh Ji, Rada Sahib wale Mahapurkh, Dhan Mahapurkh Ji, ਉਹ ਬਚਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ. ਧੰਨ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਵੱਡੂ ਬਚਨ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਤਪ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੱਥੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the greatest penance that you can do in the house of Guru Nanak, Baba Ishar Singh Ji would say, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ is that seva that is carried out with your hands. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ cleaning the jode of the sangat, placing the jode, the shoes of the sangat neatly and then cleaning them, is washing the dishes of the sangat ਪਿਆਰਿਓ with your hands, carrying out ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਝਾੜੂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ. Getting a ਝਾੜੂ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ is like a brush made out of long straws, and then dusting the floors of the house of Guru Nanak where the sangat have walked. ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ these type of sevas, ਅੱਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ, bring in water as well, ਤਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਈ ਪਾਸੇ ਹੱਲੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਪੱਖੇ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ, getting a big fan and waving it over the sangat. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ this is the greatest penance that you can do in the house of Guru Nanak is tap. But here Guru Ram Das Ji Sache Paatshah Ji saying, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਜਪ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that jap ਕਹਿੰਦੇ is said to be the true recitation of the mantra. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਤਪ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that tap, that penance, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that seva that you even carry out in the house of Guru Nanak with your hands, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that is said to be the true seva. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ sa brat, anybody that actually fasts, that keeps any birth, that fasts of any kind of thing, whether it be food of any other form of birth somebody does in their life, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ only that birth in the name of God ਕਹਿੰਦੇ is true. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ puja, any type of worship that you actually carry out, sangat ji, matha tek is a form of worship. When we place our head before the Guru, that is a form of worship. Somebody ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਡੰਡੌਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, that is a form of worship. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ somebody that is actually doing ਚੌਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ over ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, that is a form of worship. Worship can be carried out in many different types of ways in the house of Guru Nanak ਪਿਆਰਿਓ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬ੍ਰਤ ਪੂਜਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ but that ਕਹਿੰਦੇ jap is true, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that tap is true, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that fast is true, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that worship is true. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਤ ਹਰ ਸਿਓ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲਗਾਏ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that one, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ where you have love for God inside of your heart. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਤ ਹਰ ਸਿਓ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲਗਾਏ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਹੋਵੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਜਪ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਤਪ, ਉਹ ਬ੍ਰਤ, ਉਹ ਪੂਜਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਸਹੀ ਮੰਨੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਉਛਲ ਪਵੇ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ. ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੰਜ ਕਹਿ ਲਈਏ, ਉਹ we can say like this, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that what wells up love inside for me is the true mantra. ਪਿਆਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਰਥ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ. Professor Sahib Singh, he's translated this pankti in this way. He's saying that over here where Paatshah Ji saying jit, kende with, kende jit, kende that meditation. Jit here meaning that meditation, just like we said in the first pankti, relating the jit back to the first pankti of har har. Naam nit tyai, the meditation kende of Vaheguru Ji, har syo preet lagaye, that is done with kende true love, kende that is the recitation of a mantra. Having love in your heart for God is the biggest meditation we can do. Kende that is the greatest seva that anybody could carry out, any penance anybody could do. That is the birth, that is the fast, that is the worship, is having that love inside. Because then Sangat Ji, whatever comes from their mouth, whatever word they speak, Whatever they say becomes a mantra because then it's from love. Then whatever they carry out with their hands and feet, that becomes tap, that becomes penance, Sangat Ji, because it's got love inside, because they've got love inside. Sangat Ji, no matter what brat that they do, then Sangat Ji, because the love is inside, everything then becomes real. Everything becomes worship. Worship we talk about doing matha tek in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Pyareo, no, not just in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It doesn't just stop there. Because ye sada ishtiya Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib Ji Pacha Ji is our love. When I say our love, that one focus that teaches us that this is what I want you to be doing everywhere. That Guru Granth Sahib Ji Pacha is that Sargun Sroop of Vaheguru Ji. That is that form of Vaheguru Ji that is teaching us to become like that in every moment, in everywhere of our life. We talk about worship. We said that worship can be Kar sadhu anjali pun vadda hai, kar dandaut pun vadda hai. We talk about that this being worship, Sangat Ji, that doing bowing, put your hands together. But the truth is, pyareo, when we have love inside of our heart, then every place that we put our hands together, that becomes our worship. Every place that we bow our head becomes our worship. Every place that we go down and put our head down on the floor becomes our worship. Sangat Ji, Satguru Ji Path Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Path Ji has given us this fateh. Kende aage aab singh jo pave, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh bulave. It said in the Rahatname, kende when you see another singh come before you, or pyare, or another sekh come before you, because we don't want any bibiyan to say there's discrimination. Nahi, pyareo, ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਗੇ ਆਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋ ਪਵੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਵੇ. ਪਿਆਰੇ, when we've got love inside of our heart, then pyare, there's nothing else left in our life for us. Sadhguru Ji Path Ji say to us, kende in the agli pankti, kende bin har preet hor preet sab jhoothi, ek khin meh bisar sab jaye. Kende because then without that, kende bin har preet, kende hor preet sab jhoothi, kende then any other love for any other form of love, kende other than the love of Vaheguru Ji, kende is jhoothi, is completely false. Because then the truth is, when you come before somebody else to do a fateh, you're not doing fateh then to that person anymore. As you say Vaheguru Ji, you're actually putting your hands together. Aage aap singh jo pave. Pyareo, pehla just like Bhai Gurdas Ji say, kende namaskar dandaut kar. Kende when you do namaskar, when you put your hands together, namaskar means to bow. When we do fateh today, nowadays, pyare, we've become very short. We do things like ha gur fateh, we'll do things like that, like khalsa fateh. Ithe ke tak reh gaya na, par asl vich even a fateh, pyare, was a worship. Some people, they do all sorts of things for worship, but ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਲਈ, ਇੱਕ ਫਤਿਹ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਕੀ ਸੀ? For us, pyareo, even that was a puja. That was a worship, because the moment we put our hands together, asl fateh jado bulai diya. We put our hands together, to sir neema karida ya, and we bow our head down and we put our head down. And what do we say? We say Vaheguru Ji. When we're saying Vaheguru Ji, we're actually saying that my love now is with nothing else. Bin har preet hor preet sab jhoothi. That now my love isn't for anything false anymore. Don't think that I'm just bowing down to this physical body of yours, because this body is going to change. This body is not going to remain. But I am bowing down and recognizing the source of creation within inside of you. As I put my hands together and I put my head down, I'm actually recognizing even within you, even within each pore of you, even in the core of you only exists that Vaheguru Ji, and I am bowing down to that Vaheguru Ji within you as well. That Vaheguru Ji, I'm saying that I can see Vaheguru Ji in you as well. Ji ka Khalsa, that you, the Khalsa, that you that are representing the army of Akal Purkh Ji, Vaheguru Ji, that I am bowing down to Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, who you belong to, ka Khalsa, jeda tu Khalsa ya. मैं उस वाहिगुरु नु नमस्कार कर रहा आया. Once there's love inside, then everything, Sangat Ji, becomes worship to us. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. This Fateh, this greeting, this Fateh, this greeting of victory that I say, I'm saying it to who? I'm saying it to Vaheguru. I'm saying it to Vaheguru Ji. Pyareo, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh hai. I'm saying this Fateh. I'm saying this now. This Fateh, this greeting that has got victory sitting in it. Why has it got victory sitting in it? Because it's got Vaheguru Ji sitting in it. Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Sangat Ji, ਜਦੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਅੰਦਰ, ਫਿਰ ਕੇਵਲ ਮੱਥਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੇਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ. Then it's not that we just placing our head, just recognizing the light of God within, the words of Gurbani, and placing our head there. When there's love, then there is nothing else left for us. Then our love is only with Vaheguru Ji. When we put our even head and hands together before a Gursik, Pyareo, never mind a Gursik. Sangat Ji, that Fateh is for the Khalsa. But Pyareo, another greeting that we say, that was said by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji as well, that when Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji, when they went to Medina, when they went to Makkah, when they went to the city of Makkah, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha Ji, and whoever they met there, whatever qazis they met there, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji, what greeting would they say? They would say Sat Sri Akal Gur Bar Akal. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pacha Ji would say these words. So no matter who we meet, even if we meet somebody else that is not a Khalsa and they don't say the Fateh, if we meet somebody else, whether it be a Sahajdhari Sikh, whether it be somebody that just got the label Sikh, whether it be somebody that belongs to the Punjabi community, and that's how you communicate with them, even with them, we bowing down and we're worshipping that one still, because now there's love inside. We put our hands together. This is how we fall in love with everything. It doesn't matter koi chota bachcha hove, koi sade haan da hove, koi vadda hove, whether it be a small child, whether it be somebody, Sangat Ji, of our same age, older than us, it does not matter, because we're recognizing the same jyot in everything, everyone now. Pyareo, when somebody comes before us, we say Sat Sri Akal. We're saying that the one that resides in you, the one that is in every pore of you, I'm saying Sat is the actual truth. That truth that is still. I'm not getting stuck in these emotions of you are this, you are my enemy, you are my friend, you are this, you are somebody that slanders me, you are somebody that praises me. Sangat Ji, those are just waves of Maya that come and go. If I think I have love for you but not for you, that is still Maya, because that is just a wave. Because the truth is, if we haven't become love yet, that same love that we have for our partner can within an instant, it can become hatred, because we're going with that wave that is Maya. That wave, we're like that surfer that just going up and down in our emotions. Pyareo, how many times does it happen? Somebody's saying they've spent 5 years telling each other, I love you so much, oh my God, I can't live without you, you're the breath of my life, Oh pyareo, ajkal how many stories do we hear? But because they were just going with that wave, it was just the Maya. It was just that they were taking them for what they are for that moment. We've fallen in love with their personality. We've fallen in love with their little moment of emotion that they showed to us. But then somebody's gone on their honeymoon. They've come back and they're not even holding hands. They're not even talking to each other. what are they doing? They get back from their honeymoon and they actually call in their solicitors. They're saying, I want a divorce. And Sangat ji, why? Because they were in love with the wave that changes, with somebody's personalities that is one thing, one moment is something else, the other moment. Somebody's emotions is one thing, they're showing you one emotion 1 minute and they're showing you another emotion another minute. Because we fell in love with the surface, we fell in love with the Maya. And then Sangat ji, that's why that is always false. Pacha ji saying, this isn't me trying to be negative, this is Pacha ji's actual words. But when we fall in love with that truth, the stillness deep inside of that ocean, when we find that inside of ourselves, then that's all we see in somebody else. We say Sat. We're saying that I'm recognizing the truth inside of you. I'm bowing down to that truth inside of you. Sat Siri Akal, that is timeless. Your emotions might be Kal, within time. Your personality that I so-called fell in love with might be within Kal, within a time frame of 10 minutes, of few hours, of 10 years. But I'm actually now in love with the truth, and that is in everyone. I'm in love with everything. My love doesn't discriminate anymore. Sat Sri Akal. I bow down to that one. That is Sri. When my Hindu brothers, when they say Namaskar, Namas means that my Matha Kar is bowing down to who? Even they, Sangat ji, they are saying, don't ever discriminate, Sangat ji. Don't ever get into that pride of saying, oh, we're the best. We've got the truth. Only Sikhs know what it is. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਖੁੱਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿੱਗ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਈਓ. Don't end up falling into that pit and thinking we are the best and we've got it. ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਭਰਾ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਨਮਸਤੇ, ਨਮਸਕਾਰ, when they're saying namaste, we're saying they are also recognizing the truth inside of you and saying, I'm bowing down to the source of creation within you. Those that come from South India, they say namaskaram. They say that I am bowing down to the source of life, the essence of life inside of you. प्यारियो आओ, बिन हर प्रीत होर प्रीत सब झूठी, एक खिन मह बिसर ना सब जाए. I was gonna use many examples, but ਹੁਣ ਸਮਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. So ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, love, प्यार किया प्यारियो. What is that love? Having love for no Maya. प्यारे जी, प्यार किता मंसूर वर्गिया ने. If somebody has loved, it's those like Mansour that have loved. Mansour, Sangat ji, who was born in around, it was very early on. He was about 1500 years ago. Mansour was about 1400 years ago. Mansour. And Sangat ji, ਜੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਸੀ, ਪਿਆਰ ਮਨਸੂਰ ਦੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ. ਉਹਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਅਨ ਅਲ ਹਕ. He would say an al-haq. And what did that mean? He would say, I am the truth. And because he wasn't talking to this body that wasn't going to remain anymore, he wasn't talking to the mind that isn't going to remain anymore, but because he had become one with that khuda, whether that one is that khud, apne aap de vichon, that one that is Allah, the one that has been there right from the beginning, us Mansoor nu ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਸੀ. He was saying an al-haq, not to say that I, this ego I, is the truth. There was no you left for him. When he was saying I, he meant I as in everything. That I am the truth. Meaning there is nothing but the truth. There is only but Vaheguru Ji. And Sangat Ji, as he would be saying this, those that were of very narrow-minded thought, those that actually followed Islam only with their intellectual mind, they said that he's going against the Islamic rules. They tried to give him many chances, but he did not stop reciting an al-haq. Why? Because that was the truth for him. He wasn't just saying a mantra, he was now that form of love. He had become that Sat Chit Anand Swaroop. Sangat Ji, eventually he was arrested and he was tortured. He was kept in a prison cell and they said that we will hang you to death. And they said, you know what? You could be a great inspiration for many other Muslims. Just stop saying this, that I am the truth, because they couldn't understand it. They didn't know what he was saying, but he had gone crazy. He was besotted in love for Vaheguru Ji, that Vaheguru Ji saw everywhere, in everyone. Sangat Ji, he was put in a prison. He was given only half a roti to eat every day in his cell. That's it, that's all he received. They pushed a little plate inside of his cell. Nobody was allowed to visit him. But there was one fakir, there was one Muslim saint who was traveling and searching for the truth himself. And everyone he had met, he asked 3 questions to. Those 3 questions are anyway, I couldn't help it, but I've started to go into the story. Pyareo, he asked these 3 questions to whoever he met, this Muslim saint did. He said, what is the limit? What is the limit of giving? He goes, Daan da, he goes, Had kiya. And he would say, what is the limit of tyag? What is the limit of giving up? And he would say, what is the limit of love? No matter where he searched, whatever answers he's got, he was never satisfied. But Pyareo, when he heard about Mansour, he said, before he is tortured any further, I want to ask him these 3 questions. He came and asked the rulers of that time, and he got permission because he was a very well respected saint. They thought maybe they can bring him back around to following the Islam that they knew about, that their intellectual minds knew about. They gave him permission to go and meet Mansour. Mansour was sitting there with a radiant face in that prison. And this fakir said, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕੋਲ 3 ਸਵਾਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ. He said, I want to ask you 3 questions if you are to bless me with the permission to do so. Mansour says, ਪੁੱਛੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਕੀਰ ਜੀ. ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ 3 ਸਵਾਲ ਨੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਤਿਆਗ ਦਾ ਹੱਦ, ਦਾਨ ਦਾ ਹੱਦ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦਾ ਹੱਦ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the limit to giving, the limit to giving up, and they said the limit to love. Mansour ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਫਕੀਰ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਜਵਾਬ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਰਸਨਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਵਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਸ ਜਵਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਨੁਭਵ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵਿਖਾਵਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਜਵਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਖਰੀ ਅਰਥਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਅਰਥ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਿਖਾਵਾਂ. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ should I can I answer this question to you with words that come out of this mouth? Mansour said, or should I show you these? Should I show you? Fakir ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ. I've never had anyone say to me, should I show you? ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਫਕੀਰ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, show me then. ਬੜੀ ਅਜੀਬ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, something very strange and mysterious. I've not heard it before. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚੱਲ ਮੈਂ I'll take the second option please. Ching. Second option I choose. Mansour ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਫਕੀਰ ਜੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੁਝ ਦਿਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹੋ then. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ you'll have to stay with me for a few days. ਫਕੀਰ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ I accept. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਤਿਆਗ ਵੇਖਣਾ, if you want to see ਤਿਆਗ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਜਾਣਾ. ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਮਨਸੂਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ. They sat in meditation. They said, this time in the morning I meditate in a specific way and come and see me at that time. When the fakir turned up and he saw that Mansour, he can't hear any pulse in his body. His face has turned a different color, and it seems like he's died. And the fakir thought this is a setup. He set me up. That he's going to put this, that I've killed him. Why would he want to do this to me? And then Mansour, all of a sudden, his colour returns and his pulse returns and you can hear his beat. And the fakir goes, what was that all about? He goes, that was the answer to one of your first questions. It goes about Tyag. Tyag about giving, what is the limits of not being attached and being able to walk away from something. And he said that this body means nothing to me. He goes, that truth inside of me, he goes, that can leave this body at any time, has no attachment to this body. Pyareo, we are doing everything we can to remain in this body, but a true saint that is in love, this body is nothing for them. Leaving it, coming and going is nothing. And he says, oh wow. He says, we're all so attached to this body, but this body means nothing to you because you've realized that is beyond this body. And you can leave it any moment. Mansour had taken himself out of his body for that moment. It reminds me of another story of a Sant that is still alive today, that somebody, a Sangi, and this Sant that was staying at their house in Canada is a Bibi, a woman saint. And when he walked into this Sant's room early in the morning, and he wasn't supposed to knock before he went straight in, and he saw the same thing. Something very similar, but Kar coming back to Mansour. He says, Tyag, he says, what about donating? What's the biggest donation? What's the biggest way of donating, of giving? Mansour said, come to me at lunchtime. Pyareo, Mansour has been in this prison now for days and days. His body is becoming bone-like. Why? Because he's not been able to eat for long. But today, during that lunch, they give him that half a roti again and just shove it in their cell. In his cell. Sangaji, to be able to give. The fakir comes. The fakir doesn't know that that's all Mansour gets to eat once a day is half a roti without any dal sabji, without any lentils, without any other type of food. Mansour ji says, "Aao, Fakir ji shakiye, let's eat." Fakir ji says, "Koi nahi. I've eaten earlier as well this morning." Mansour kende hun bhukh lagi honi, you must be hungry, it's lunchtime. Kende aao apa shakiye, that half prashada, let's eat. Mansour kende, you are my guest in this cell. That guest, you are my Rab. You are God for me. They said, you eat this half prashada first. The fakir reluctantly says, what about you? This is koini, tusi shako. You says, don't worry, you eat. The fakir ate that half prashada, half a roti. And the fakir, thinking that something else is going to come for Mansour, he says, when's the rest of the food coming? He said, that's it. He goes, tomorrow I will be hung. He goes, that was the last piece of food I was going to get, and I've given that to you. The fakir put his head down. He goes, ki kita tusi? He says, why did you do this? He says, the only piece of food you was going to get, and you're not going to get to eat now before you're going to be hung tomorrow. Mansour said, yaad rakhyo fakir ji. He goes, tyag eho ja karna. He goes, be ready. If you're going to give something up, be ready to give this body up, to have no attachment to it. He goes, he goes, daan eho ja karna. He goes, if you want to give, if you want to truly give in this life, he goes, giving is, even if you have nothing left for yourself, you give it away. Because that's the limit to daan. Fakir roon lapya. Fakir welled up his eyes. He goes, Tanya tusi Mansour ji. He goes, Mansour, menu prem da had dasso. He goes, tell me the limit of prem. Mansour kahan lage, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਆਇਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ, you come tomorrow when I'm going to be hung. The Fakir Baba goes and stands in the crowd as Mansoor is about to be hung. They put the rope around his neck, but the executors, as they come, the rulers of that time said, Mansoor, you still got an opportunity, change your mind now. Change your mind now. This is otherwise we're going to torture you and we're going to start cutting your pieces into your body into pieces. So as we cut each piece of your body, as we cut each part of your body into pieces, that you could come to your senses and stop saying this mantra of Anal Haq. Little did they know that Mansoor cannot stop saying this mantra, because this mantra is not only on his tongue anymore, it's gone deeper than his tongue. Mansoor said, he said, I can't stop saying this mantra. They said, why are you being a fool? He said, you don't understand. I can't stop saying it. They didn't understand. This is, what do you mean you can't stop? This is, come to your senses. They start to cut his body into pieces. They cut off, Pyareo, they cut off Mansoor's hands first. Mansoor said, Anal Haq, with his tongue. Everybody could hear this vibrating, Anal Haq, I am the truth. He said, hey Allah. He said, hey Vaheguru, meaning Vaheguru, Allah. He's saying that, hey Haq, hey the truth, meaning Sat. Hey the truth, Haq means Sat, the truth in Arabic. He says, oh the truth, that the truth is, I don't need these hands to come to you. They cut off his feet. And he says, Anal Haq, he says, oh the truth, that this truth is beyond these feet. I don't need these feet to walk to you. Pyareo, they cut off his legs. He said, I don't need these legs to come to you, Vaheguru, Allah. They cut off, they start cutting each part of his, they cut off his arms. He says, I don't need these arms to serve you, Vaheguru Ji. They said, stop saying Anal Haq. They took his tongue. They says, if you don't stop, we'll cut this tongue off. And the Fakir said, wait, I need my answer. You told me that you will tell me the limits of love. Anal Haq shook his head to say there is no limit to love. Everything else might have a limit, but not love. The Fakir is thinking still, I don't understand. And they took his tongue, and the Fakir is saying, nah, this is, don't touch his tongue. I'm still yearning to hear the answer to what is love, what is the limit of love. They cut his tongue off, and Mansoor tells them, he can't speak anymore, but Mansoor's each pore of his body tells them that you don't need a tongue when there is love. Sangat Ji, each pore of his body, they could hear the vibration of Anal Haq, that you are the truth, Vaheguru. And then saying, meaning, but literally saying, I am the truth. They're saying, oh, what is he? We've cut his tongue away, but we can hear still hear these words. They cut each part of him up, Sangat Ji, of his body. There was nothing left of his body. They hung him. What was left of him, they hung him as he breathed his last. Sangat Ji, but in each part, they said, of that area of the forest, for each leaf of that tree, the Fakir could hear the vibration of Anal Haq. The Fakir said, I understand now, Mansoor. There is no limits to love. That love, that Vaheguru is everywhere, even in each leaf of this tree. Trepavan Mihip, Sur Nar Asur, Net Ban Trin Kehet. Ban means the forest, Trin means the blade. Each blade of grass within this forest is saying, Na iti, na iti. That Vaheguru Ji, you are limitless. He could hear each leaf now became real, became alive for that fakir. Because of Mansour's kamal, because of Mansour's vibration, he experienced Vaheguru Ji in each leaf, in each, everywhere in the space. He can, that vibration of Anal Haq, realizing that love, value, anurag, the love, that love is spread everywhere. Sangat ji aao samapti kariye. Padshah ji apna Guru Ramdas ji, Dhan Guru Ramdas ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਿਨ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਹੋਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਭ ਝੂਠੀ, ਇੱਕ ਖਿੰਨ ਮਹਿ ਬਿਸਰ ਸਭ ਜਾਏ। ਤੂੰ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਸਰਬ ਕਲਾ ਪੂਰਾ। You are limitless, Vaheguru Ji. Sarb Kal Pura, you are complete and perfect. You hold Kal, the power. You are all powerful. Kich कीमत कही ना जाए, your कीमत, your value cannot be spoke of. नानक शरण तुम्हारी हर जियो, नानक शरण तुम्हारी हर जियो. I come into your sharan, into your sanctuary, Vaheguru Ji. Paave teve chadaye, save me in whichever way it takes to save me. Save me, Vaheguru Ji. Sangat Ji, what is left to say? Embrace that premi, embrace that lover in your heart throughout the day. Think of Mansour. Think of his love for Vaheguru. That one that had realized Vaheguru Ji in everything. Daan dena Sokhaya, it's easy to give when we've got so much for ourselves. But when it's a matter of even going hungry ourselves and feeding somebody else, wo gali ko chhoreya. That love is something else. Having no attachment to this body. Having so much love. Only that is true love. Only that is true love. Where we can see that value, anurag. Anurag means the form of love, the embodiment of love. Value means spread everywhere. When we can see that love spread everywhere. And that love isn't just inside of me. That now I'm looking through the lenses of love and all I see is love everywhere. So every time I put my hands together, I am saying, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. I'm saying Sat Sri Akal to my Hindu brothers. To Namaskar is only to that Vaheguru, because there is nothing but Vaheguru. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.